Right, guys, this is Crazy Kev here, and I'm here with Vern, the mechanic. How we doing, Vern?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great.
Awesome, Vern. So, Vern, man, talk us a little bit more about kind of how you got into Power Slap and how things are going with you, my man.
I got into Power Slap. It was a few years ago. One thing led to another. There was a guy I was supposed to fight, and our couldn't line up, and then it did. And once again, we didn't fight. So somehow they got in contact with Devin Schwan. One thing led to another. He contacted me. He's like, "Hey, if these people call, make sure you answer." And I did, and the rest is history.
Yeah, no, that's definitely awesome. I'm definitely glad you got the call. And when it comes to Power Slap, I mean, how have you been enjoying it? And what's maybe next for you in the future when it comes to Power Slap?
Oh, everything's going great. I enjoy it a lot. The people are good. The organization's good. I mean, it's owned by Dana, and then there's Frank and Hunter and Erica. So all those people combined has really made it flow really smooth. So I just hope it just keeps growing, and I hope I'm a part of it. Whether it be behind a microphone or be in competing, I just want to make sure I'm there.
Yeah, no, that would definitely be awesome to maybe have you eventually behind the mic, like you mentioned. And you in your last bout, Austin came in there a little bit overweight, man. I mean, what was that kind of like having to deal with that?
You know, I wasn't too worried about it. I'm professional. No matter what, they knew I was going to take the match. So if he came in, there was going to be no bad face for them. Everything was going to be good because I was going to take the match no matter what. But it just shows a level of unprofessionalism that I didn't like because even Bisbing and all them, the commentators, they're like, oh, well, he weighs 220 pounds and blah blah blah. During the competition. Well, I also weighed 220 pounds. I think I weighed like 223 during the match. So it's not like it was a huge advantage for him. The only advantage he got is he didn't have to cut weight and have the stress level up, and he just got to eat and be free because he knew I was going to take the match no matter what.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So when it comes to like MMA and even like Power Slap, when it comes to these guys like missing weight, I mean, what would you maybe recommend on like these guys that kind of miss weight, or why do you think that's even happening? I guess would be a better question.
I think it happens in Power Slap because they're usually athletes that aren't on a level that they understand like their body, and nothing against Turpin. He's going to figure it out. It's going to be a learning curve. But I always I wrestled. I did the Highland Games. I did powerlifting. I always did a sport that I had to weigh in for. So it was just natural for me to understand what they wanted. And I know how my body works. And Turpin doesn't understand his, and I bet by the next one he's got it dialed in. But I get off the plane as long as I'm within 10 pounds, like the morning of, and you give me an hour and a half, 2 hours, I'll be down. You
Yeah.
know, I'm a heavy sweater, so I know where to go. So I know my time frame and how long it takes. So I think more people will figure it out as the sport grows. So I'm not too worried about it.
Yeah, fair enough. That makes sense. And you mentioned that you used to compete in the Highland Games. I mean, talk to us a little bit more about what that was kind of like and what was some of the things that you had to do.
It was a traditional strongman competition, and there's 9 events. We had caber tosses, which is the big pole everyone sees. People flip end over end. Uh, there's um, there's hammer throws, which is a traditional style hammer with a handle. Weights for distance, weights for height. You know, stones, which is like shot put. There's a heavy, a braemar. There's just a bunch of throwing events combined into one, and then the sheaf. The sheaf, I actually got to use a pitchfork, which is an American side of it. They normally don't do those overseas, but it was just a good sport where guys came together, competed against each other, had great friends, and just lifted heavy shit. So it was just good, and we did everything in one day. So throughout the day, it was always at a festival. You'd go from event to event. Guys were separated, and you know, just a competition like the decathlon.
Yeah, very nice. Very nice. That's definitely pretty cool. And you mentioned on your Power Slap bio, man, that you used to race Jordy Nelson. I mean, do you still keep in contact with him at all?
I haven't talked to him in years. He lives just up the road, so he doesn't live too far away from me. He's still back here in Kansas. His family farms. It was even when we were in high school, I always told people, I'm like, that guy's going to be the guy. Like that guy's going to be pro. People laughed at me. They didn't understand it, but I was there with him every year watching him compete, and probably the best athlete I've ever had to compete against. I beat him 9 times in 4 years. So that's how good that guy is. That guy was amazing.
Yeah, no, he's definitely an incredible receiver, no doubt about it. And when it comes to you, man, I mean, after your power slap matches, I mean, what do you typically like to do after a win?
After a win, they have like the VIP lounge, and the high limit. I go in there, talk to people, meet people because I'm there for the people. They're there to watch me, and if there's any chance for that there's a fan that's there that flew out there to meet me or see me compete. That's their opportunity to run into me, bump into me, and maybe take photos, stuff like that. So I do all I can for when I see a fan when I'm there. And mainly it's that. And, if it kind of dies down, I just go out to eat with some friends and that's it.
Yeah, no, that's awesome that you support the fans so much. That's definitely incredible. And speaking of the fans, I mean, do you have any cool like fan experience you might have had from maybe meeting some of them at the VIP lounge?
Honestly, the best one so far was on the airplane. There's this little kid that recognized me on the flight back. It was after actually the Turpin match, and he was like super excited, and he's like, "Oh, it's like great to meet you and stuff." And I was like, "Hey, I'm like, just stand here. I'll have something in my bag." So I gave him a hat and some other stuff, and uh, it without the fans, we wouldn't be where we're at. So as much as I can do for them, if they're nice to me, I'll be nice to them. And if people come up to me in public, I talk to them, answer questions. What's 30 minutes out of my day? If someone's willing to talk to me, I just I talk back.
No, I definitely think that's incredible, man. I definitely wish more athletes were kind of like you, man. That's definitely some awesome stuff there. And
You know,
when it
and
co-
I'm not too like I understand some of the bigger athletes, like it's just constant, hammering down, and people are always trying to chat with them, but as long as you make it an attempt to talk to them or just say hey or anything like that, normally people understand, hey, I'm busy or stuff like that. But
yeah,
I'm not here without them, so I will do the best I can to chat with any fan that's around.
yeah, no, that's fantastic. Like I said, I'm definitely glad that you do that kind of thing. That's definitely very awesome. And when it comes to power slap, man, I mean, do you ever like check out your betting odds or anything like that for your matches, or just like
Um, I look at my odds every time, and I usually laugh. It's pretty comical to me, only because of the fact that like I've been the underdog a lot, and I've won a lot being the underdog. This last match, I was the underdog. Even when I ended up getting the coin toss after Turpin didn't make weight, I was still the underdog. So you know, shout out to Circa and anyone that had betting odds on me. Yeah, you're welcome. You guys made a lot of money off me that night, so you're welcome.
That's right. No, they definitely did, my man. And speaking of that, I mean, there's MMA fighters. They're not allowed to bet on like MMA and stuff. With you being contracted with Power Slap, are you not allowed to bet on MMA at all either?
No, I'm not. We are part of Zuffa, which is they own UFC, and it's just why risk it? I get emails about it. Every match. It's like, hey, don't bet, don't this. I mean, do I wish I can bet? Yeah, there's a couple UFC fights that happened recently that I was like, yeah, man, I wish I could have been on that. But it's not like I have an insider track or anything like that. It's just I get their point that they don't want us talking between each other and things happening, trying to keep the sport clean. But yeah, I cannot bet whatsoever on MMA, power slap. So
Huh. No, that's definitely some cool insight. I was definitely curious about that. And when it comes to Power Slap, I mean, what's it kind of like behind the scenes when it comes to getting the match? When it comes to like, I guess the blood work, the paperwork, like all that testing, is it the same as kind of MMA as well too?
yes, it's pretty much identical. I have my doctor physicals. I get my blood work. So let's say I'll just do a rundown my normal thing when I get off the plane for them. I get to the UFC Apex. I have paperwork to sign. If there's any photo shoots or anything I need to do, I need to do that. We go over contracts, sign some more paperwork, just go over everything that entails for the next couple days. And just like MMA, like I do a urinalysis, the day of the fight. So like when I get there and we get in the facility or whatever hotel wherever we're at, we have a room that we're in. We can't get out of the room. Someone's got to guide us out, guide us back in. We do our urinalysis and just 100% after that. And I like that. I like that they're trying to keep it clean and follow the rules. There's a couple rules that people it's a gray area, like marijuana. It's legal in Las Vegas, but it's illegal in Texas. So if we ever had a match in Texas, we couldn't test positive. So there's that, but also they don't want us coming to the match high. So yeah,
Yeah,
and
no,
I don't do that. I don't do that. So, but I'm clean and I don't want to have any false positives or anything. So I just stay clean and just eat natural and just go that route.
fair enough. No, that definitely makes sense. That's definitely some good insight there as well too. And speaking about power slap, I mean, what do you kind of do when it comes to training? I mean, how do you kind of get prepared for these matchups?
It's about, I'd say about 90% mental, 10% physical. So, just the mental aspect. If you've watched my matches, I'm very, very calm. I don't get worked up. So that helps me in that aspect. I'm starting to get the perfect level of being pumped, I think, which helps me withstand the hit. Because I think you need to have a little bit of adrenaline going, otherwise it just, you'll get leveled. But as for hitting, just I work on my hand placement, my technique, work on my footwork, everything that involves a penalty. I try to just come in and just make sure that I'm like, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm doing. And I preach to the kids that I coach and like other sports, repetitiveness. Do it the same way every time. So like my match against Delvin, I hit him, but I didn't hit him like my hand wasn't up on his face far enough. But because I step into the box the same way every time, I do everything the same way every time. I knew in my mind, and all I had to do was to step about an inch forward, and I'd be there.
Hmm,
So my
okay.
training just really boils down to accuracy and and building the power later.
Fair enough. Okay, that makes sense. I definitely like that style of training. And when it comes to you, man, as well too. When you're talking about power slap, I mean, is there any kind of rules or anything like that? Maybe you'd like to switch up in the future to kind of help power slap keep growing.
Rules to switch up in the future. Honestly, I don't know if there's any rules I'd switch up. I like the way they're running it now. Um, I think somehow we need to figure out how to incorporate more of like fan base from WWE because if we had cooler walkouts, I don't know. I think that'd be fun because it's such a fan driven sport. Because have you been to an event yet?
I have not. No, I've been trying to get to one. I haven't been to one yet.
Man, anyone that's gone to one, once they've gone, they're like, I get it. Like, it's quick. It's like this. It's constant, constant. So the fast pace, everything's good, and I feel the rules are good. I think just somehow we need to build the audience, and I think a great audience to build with would be like WWE fans.
Yeah, no, that would definitely be pretty cool. I've even thought that even for like the UFC, I like a lot of the prelim guys. They don't even like show the walkouts nowadays. I wish they kind of did that for everybody. I think it would kind of help their personality show a little bit more, and kind of like what you mentioned too. It's just going to help Power Slap kind of be even more fun and kind of get even potentially some more viral moments in the future, kind of like you mentioned.
Yeah, and just because it's really close. Like the people are really close to you. There's no cage, so you don't have that barrier. And I know it seems weird because you can see through the cage and whatnot, but when you're in a cage and you're looking out, there's still that barrier. But when you're standing on that platform and it's just you and the air, and then someone's 15 feet away from you, I mean, you can hear them yelling, you can hear this. It's a sport that fans can really get into, and it's a roller coaster. And I say a roller coaster because you get the walkout, like okay, people are hyped, everything. You get up on the stage, and then they're like, okay, what's going on? How's it going? It's going right on one, right on three, left, right. People are watching, and as soon as he says what hand and count, it gets quiet. And everyone's watching. They're like, okay, one. And they're counting in their head, two. And then boom, the hit happens. Like whatever happens, like it's either like boos or, it's exciting, it's going up and down. So that aspect leads the crowd to be involved more than MMA, because MMA is just like, okay, they're in there and you have to pay attention. You're like, oh, is he gonna get the right hook? Is he gonna get this? And people are so quick, they just want like things to happen instantly. So we're giving them the aha moments, like, oh yes, the bam. And then the events, the match is done. We get off the stage, you have a 5-10 minute window. You can talk to your friends, go get a drink, do this, and then you're back and you're like, okay, we're ready for the next one.
Yeah, no, that definitely sounds like a lot of fun for when it comes to the crowd experience. And speaking about that, I mean, obviously, you compete in power slap, but have you watched it yourself live? I mean, what was that kind of like if you have?
Yeah, my match against Delvin, I think I was the first in the main card. So after I won, I bought a ticket and I was in the crowd, hanging out with them, getting beer. Everything was good. As a crowd experience, I think it's great. Just watching, meeting the people, but also I think this is going to be. I don't know how big you can make it, for the audience and still be personable. So that's going to be the fine line. I think they're going to have to adjust. I mean, the last one, I think there was like 4,000 people there, which doesn't seem like a lot when you hear about UFC, and the crowd's just massive.
Yeah.
But we have 4,000 people, and if you have a VIP ticket, you may be, Max Crosby may be there. Cam Newton was there. Machine Gun Kelly. You're gonna have more interaction with people that you may be interested in other sports and other events because they're there watching it. So I don't know when how they're gonna figure out if like 10,000 is the number or what, but it's gonna grow and the fans are still gonna come, the celebrities are still gonna come. They're super smart. They put it on weekends where like UFC, is the following day, so the crowd's already there. But it's amazing. You have to go. You have to go to one.
That's what I've been hearing from almost everybody in the power slap community now. That they've all been saying the same thing ever since I've been doing these interviews with you guys. They're like, man, you guys got to go and start meeting some of these guys and just having that experience. So I'm definitely hooked. Like I said, I just got to kind of find one that's close to me. But I'm definitely interested, 100%, my man.
Where are you from?
I'm from Philadelphia.
Philadelphia.
Yeah.
And we're growing, so we're eventually going to be in different states, and there's going to be it'll just be like UFC where there's fight night and then there's main events, and they're gonna build it up where we're gonna have lower level cards, and then you have the big cards at big venues. So eventually, in the next couple of years, it's gonna be everywhere like UFC.
Yeah, that's what it's starting to seem like. Like I said, I mean, I'm watching the reels and everything. I know Dana White likes to say that they're doing like better numbers in the UFC, and a lot of people like to clown on them. But I mean, if you look at the Instagram reels, I mean, they have a lot of numbers on them. I'll be honest.
I mean, me personally, the videos that they have of me, I, I mean, don't quote me, but I think probably if you add them all up, I'm probably in the billion.
Wow, that's
I mean, I
incredible.
got I got one that I think is 250 million.
Wow, that's incredible.
So, I mean, in an aspect of that, I mean, I'm just one guy,
Yeah.
and there's lots of guys on the card that have 200 million here, 100 million here, 10 million. I wish I got some credit for that and got some money, but
Yeah,
it
no,
is what it is.
yeah, no, fair enough. That makes sense, man. And you mentioned when you were at your live event. I mean, you had to buy a ticket to the show after you were competing. I mean, why was that? Do you know?
It's a business, so they need to run it like a business. And the reason why I got a ticket is because I got the VIP ticket that had free food and drink, and I
Uh,
was going to win, and I was going to party with the crowd. So to me, that was like a way to give back to my fans if I won. And I did, dude. I got out there, and dude, people were like, "Oh yeah, fucking burn!" Like, so it was a small price to pay to be in the audience. So
that's awesome. No, that definitely sounds like a fantastic experience. I'm definitely glad you had a good time. What was maybe some of your go-to drinks after that win?
go to drinks, man. I like old fashions.
Okay.
Um, that'll be like towards the end of my drinks, But other than that, man, you give me vodka, Red Bull, you give me a Jack and Coke, like we're I love to party and have a good time. So
That's what I was just about to say.
it'll start out, Jack and Coke, vodka, Red Bull, and then I'll end with an old fashioned.
Sounds like a great night, man. 100%. That's awesome. Good stuff. And man, one thing about me is I'm a Taekwondo instructor. I've been teaching for 6 years now, and I've been training for 19 years. So I love martial arts and love what I do, man. And with all the guys I got in my gym, what advice do you give to them to keep on coming into the gym and to get better and better every day?
Just to remember, you're always, okay, you're going to be better the next day. Every little step makes the next step easier. And in Taekwondo, that's like an art of being precise. So you're never going to be perfect, but you're striving to be the best you can. So everyone always seems to look at the right now, just kind of look down the road, like, how much better am I going to be in 6 months? How much better am I going to be in a year? Not how much better am I going to be tomorrow? So just plan accordingly and just understand, you're here for this ride in this life, and there's always a guy better than you. So just understand it and just be the best you that you can be.
No, I definitely think that's an awesome message. You definitely got to be the best version of you, 100%. And when it comes to Power Slap, I mean, is there anybody you maybe want next? I mean, when can we maybe see you back in there?
Honestly, after my performance, I beat, Turpin. I've knocked out more guys. I honestly think I deserve a title match again, just because of the progression and everything. So yeah, I hope I get Wolverine. I don't know if it's going to be in Abu Dhabi or Dubai or Saudi Arabia. It's wherever they want me to go, I'll be there. But I would love the title match again because I think I can prove myself.
I definitely think a title match would definitely be awesome, man. We're looking forward to that. I hope the UFC, I hope the UFC gives you a shot there, 100%. And Vern, man, it's been awesome talking to you again, man. Thank you so much for coming on. It means a lot to me. I mean, what's maybe your final message out there for the fans watching this video?
For the fans, it's going to get bigger and better. Just follow the guy you like. Don't worry about it. There's haters. There's people that love it. No matter what, as long as they're watching, you're growing. So just be the best you can be.
That's right. And thank you again, Vern, for taking the time. It means a lot to me. And best of luck in your journey. And like I said, I'll have to make sure I get myself out there to a live event. Like I said, I've been hearing about it all the time, and you got me hooked. Like I said, with all the little small stuff about how close it is and everything. So I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully, I can come out to one soon.
Yeah, you'll be impressed every time.
Good. Well, like I said, I'm looking forward to it, my man. Thank you again for taking the time. It means a lot to me. And enjoy the rest of your day. We'll be in touch.
All right, thanks a lot, man. You have a good night.